Episode 6, Uncommon Talk. We have a special guest with us today who's going to discuss technology in today's society. Simple as that. We're going to expand from there. Sonny Sneckner from smarthouse.me, but that's H-A-U-Z house. Oh, there we go again. We did that the last time. Fuck. We did that the last time.
It's about to happen to me
There's
too.
a delay. We open up the Facebook, we get excited, we like to see ourselves. We're very like egotistical men. Sonny Sneckner, I had a brief conversation with you prior to this. We gotta turn that down just a little bit. Sorry. So Ross, he has these tantrums. I'm just kidding, man. No, but I had a brief conversation with you, and got to know you a little bit, got to read a little bit about you. But how about you do yourself a favor and discuss who you are and introduce yourself, I guess, for us.
Sure. Yeah, so I like to tell people I grew up outside of a small town outside of San Antonio, and then the story gets really long, so I just abridge that and say that, growing up in the hill country, started out life on a ranch basically, and ended up going to school, University of North Texas, studied jazz music, and ended up with some ethnomusicology degree, basically.
Jazz music. Did you have what's your favorite instrument?
I didn't really want to do jazz music. I found that out once I got about 3 years into the program.
I love jazz, man.
I mean, I love all music, but after you spend some time in Denton for a while, it starts to, you hear a lot of jazz music. So
yeah, I guess you're right.
But Duke Ellington is great.
I'm a small town connoisseur, especially of Texas, because I grew up in a small town. So what's the name of the town?
Bulverde.
Oh yeah, Bulverde. Yeah, which is not a small town anymore.
Well, it's like becoming San Antonio.
Technically, the town itself is pretty small. It still has one flashing light. So,
I mean, what's the population?
I don't even know.
He's from population 400.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Yeah. It's a pretty big town as it's incorporated.
Class. Do you want to hear something crazy? So I would just digress for just a second on small towns. So I was listening to NPR on the way to the office this morning, and they were talking about this town in North Dakota, and the rule in North Dakota, all you have to have is a population of 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the mayor died, and so it went to population 2.
Me, the dog.
And so literally this guy from the neighboring town moved him and his wife over to the other town, so it became population of 4, and the other 2 were so excited they named him the new mayor. And through just a little bit of social media, which we're going to get to with tech, he's now got a couple more families that are starting to move there, and someone bought this summer a cabin, and so it's just weird, right? It's a small population of 3, and then it takes
a dog
exponential
growth.
5.
There's a dog and a couple of mice on the floor. He's like, I want to thank everybody for coming to this town meeting today.
Well, they said the reason if they get 3, they get their tax benefits to pay for the electricity for the stoplights, and I'm like, you got 3 people. What do you got stoplights?
Wow.
Speaking of stoplights, I was very interested in these lights. You can't see them right now, but smarthouse.me, is that it?
Yeah, that's
Can you
right.
talk about that a little bit? I mean, these are amazing. I wish you could see them. But
House, the way it's spelled differently.
Yeah, H-A-U-Z. So you're trying to find something that was unique out there and that we can get a good URL at a good price for, because as an entrepreneur you're trying to cut costs. So smarthouse.me, that's a little bit of a German aesthetic to it, like the Mercedes-Benz or BMW type of that type of level of sophistication and ease of use is what we're going for with that. So we like to say the best way to build a smart home. I think a smart home is somewhat undefined right now in the market because no one really knows what a smart home is, and so we've done a lot of testing. We've got a lot of customers through our first company, which is Keep Austin Online, where people can book basically Genius Bar services to come to their home. It's at keepaustinonline.com. And we found through that process a lot of people were wanting to get into smart homes, and when we started to realize how useful the smart home can be, it just necessitated that we create a separate business just to focus on that.
Wow, that's interesting. So do you think we're going into some type of it's one topic that I saw here, that we're going to a matrix type of environment, and I say that in a positive way, we're going to smart homes. We're able to control things from our freaking phone now.
You're talking about the movie Matrix.
Yeah, right? I mean, what do you think? I think, as we get older, we're just going to become, cyborgs eventually. It starts
not
with
me.
It starts with our homes, but, I'm so intrigued by that. You can literally, can you power these things from an iPhone, or?
Aurora, turn the lights blue.
I was gonna do it.
Okay, blue it is.
Aurora, turn the lights Nemo.
Okay, your scene is set.
I like that one.
Yeah, and it's
And there's a town called Nemo, Texas.
that's insane.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just can do by just speaking a word, you can just change.
I mean, I could turn on
some.
some music right now, and I could put on a scene, and this thing will go to like a discotheque.
What
Oh,
are
yeah.
I think if we tilted the screen back, they could see what those look like. But
Here.
for the viewers, that because you can't really tell what's going on there.
The Facebook viewers.
So-
All right, so watch it right there. Aurora, turn the lights blue.
Okay, blue.
Where'd you get that voice?
Aurora,
Yeah.
turn the lights
Wow, that's a
Nemo.
pretty sexual voice there.
Enabling Nemo.
Let's go purple. I like purple. LSU. Go Tigers.
Aurora,
That looks like
turn the
this.
lights purple.
Purple coming right up.
Ooh, hey, that's pretty.
Right on.
So you get the gist of what this company does here.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not really. This is more flashy stuff. So this is for us the smart home.
Aurora, turn the lights Nemo.
Yeah, Nemo's good.
I
Nemo's
like
good
it.
for right now.
Makes me feel more thin, more thin.
It's three things. So there's to make a smart home really functional, you want to have, in our opinion, lights, locks, and thermostats. So I was calculating on my way over here, trying to figure out like what's the real value in this, because it's nice to have something really flashy like that, but not everyone's going to want something that's that kind of
Sorry for all the creaking.
modern art kind of a thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want to have traditional lights, and that's really what we specialize in, is making it unobtrusive. So the matrix concept
a good word.
is really not something that we think is an elegant solution. So we want to have it just be like you don't even know that you're in a smart home. But what happens is, like, if I leave my house
interesting.
right now, or prior to having this, you got to walk around, you got to turn off all the lights, and people live in these luxury mansions, and they're really proud to show off, hey, look how cool my house is. But then when they're walking out the door, they got to walk around and turn off all the lights, and that's just, there's nothing luxurious about that. Or having your kid upstairs leave the TV on and leave the lights on upstairs, and you got to walk up there and do that. So, for me, I just say goodnight to my iPhone. And all the lights turn off. A couple turn on that lead me to the refrigerator in case I want to get like a midnight snack. The door locks. Front porch light comes on.
You can make your entire house smart. Every
Sure.
single light, every single
Sure.
computer, every single.
But if you're saying you have it set that when you say goodnight, it leaves lights on to the refrigerator, or
I do. That's my personal preference.
Okay.
It also has a feature that if the temperature goes above a certain temperature, the ceiling fan turns on so that it doesn't wake anybody up, and it cools down. And then when the temperature goes back, the fan turns off. So there's a lot that you can do with it. So I was calculating this. I'm thinking like, all right, it takes me about 5 minutes to walk around the house, in the morning and the afternoon to get everything primed. That's 10 minutes a day. And if you extrapolate that times how many hours that is per year, you end up with basically three 24-hour blocks of time. And then if you break that into like 8-hour blocks of time, now you're looking at like 9 8-hour blocks of time during a year that you get back in your day just from having a smart home.
Right.
And to me, that's doing really stupid things routinely and like that take no skill or like just kind of drive you nuts. Or did I leave it on? Did I leave the garage door open? Stuff like that. How much wasted time that is. It
Yeah,
just seems
there you go.
counterintuitive.
It's
Yeah.
time. Time's the biggest asset in society right now, right? In anything. I mean, you can agree, you're a doctor.
absolutely.
You want to be able to get the patient in as quickly as possible, understand, be passionate enough. You have to show that empathy. You're a tailor. We got people doing weddings and we got special events. You got to make sure that you're giving them the best. But my point is, time is just so critical now. And what this says to me immediately is like, not only is it cool, it saves time and it saves energy. But me personally, I'm just focused on time.
Yeah.
You can say time, it's like, heck yeah, man. It's like, I don't need to turn anything off. I'm out the door.
But hold on, let's talk about that for a second. I think time is different than passion,
Yeah, for sure.
and I think what he's trying to say is that one, he's passionate about this business, and he's kind of solved a really niche problem. A lot of people don't like having to go to Home Depot, and I joke about this all the time, and no disrespect to some of maybe the people that work at Home Depot that are watching, but the demographic that works at Home Depot is kind of like the same as he said that the mid 9 to 5 Uber driver, the guy whose wife doesn't want him at home,
Yeah.
so he's at Home Depot because he loves tools and he gets a great discount. Fuck it, I'll make some money. Why not? I'll go talk to people about tools. Well, now there's smart lights, and these guys are just learning how to use an iPhone. How are they going to tell you what best light from Philips Magnavox is going to be great for your house? See what I'm saying? They don't know smart tech.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
You need to go to someone who knows it.
So he's built a marketplace that you can go into and say, this is what I need. I'm building this home and this is what I'm looking for. But the flip side to all of this stuff is like now, you know, Aaron and I went and looked. We were given a car from Covert Cadillac last year, a year and a half ago, to do some stuff with for a few months, and it was a brand new Cadillac. Everything on the inside was completely automated. I mean, everything.
Yeah,
right.
I love that.
And I went to the dealer and I said, "Well, what happens if one side of the floor panel just gets stuck coming out, or the seat doesn't move, or you know some part of the computer goes out?" I was like, "Who wrenches it?" He goes, "Oh, we don't wrench anymore. We're all just computer technicians." I'm sitting there thinking, I like wrenching on a car. It's a machine. Like,
Yeah,
But you also
know,
do it with like Model A's or Model T's or something like
but
that.
most
too,
of my
right?
Range Rover I
Spare
can
hobby.
wrench. My wife's car you wrench. Like, it's scary to think about. You have a device that you control, but you actually are in no control at all. Because the minute something goes wrong, you can't fix it. You have to have some specialist swap out a motherboard to make the car run.
So that's a good segue though. Like in kids, like whenever kids get upset when they're out in public, what do I do personally? Oh, here you go. Here are your shows. Right. So what do you think about that? You want to get into that topic right now? Do you want to start discussing the personal side of technology?
Oh, I didn't even know we were going there yet, but sure, why not?
Let's do that.
I would add one thing just to kind of close out that, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, there's a lot of security companies and there's the AV companies that sell the dealer only system, or they'll try to lock you into the security contract for $50 a month. What we do, since would like to plug this a little bit,
Sure.
is we build an open platform that works on any system, and sometimes works on simultaneously on more than one. So you can have Alexa, you could have Siri, you could have Samsung stuff or Google, and that means when you buy something from us, you can go to Home Depot, or you can go to Lowe's, and you'll know what to buy because the core system's already built.
Oh,
and
wow,
then
great.
on top of that, if you sell it to somebody else, the next person doesn't have to be an Apple user. They can be a Samsung person. In the systems that we sell, because we curate those products, is going to work on any platform.
Wow.
And so,
Does that increase the value of your house? Or?
I think it does. I mean,
Okay.
I can't live in one.
Or?
Speaking of Model Ts, would you like to drive a car that doesn't have power steering? Once you live in a home like this,
Right.
you don't want to go back.
Yeah,
it's just
that's a
too friendly, too easy.
But at the same time, I'm trying to get at the point of back to time. What is it value to your own personal privacy and security, right? Let's say all of a sudden power goes out on your street. What happens to your house?
Yeah, so all this stuff that if power goes out, then you're gonna light some candles, I guess. But
Your lock's locked. You can't unlock your house. Like, there's all that stuff.
It's all redundant. There's redundancy in everything. So every switch is a real light switch. It works that way. It just has an extra feature on it. The locks still have turning locks and keys. It's really important to us, and we also make sure that we're using some of we only go with brands that we have been around for a long time and will be around for a long time. So,
do any of y'all have smart stuff in your homes?
Yeah.
I have Alexas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use them all the time.
Yeah, so I the prices have come down enough that finally, I ended up getting some of the smart stuff, and exactly what you're talking about. Like, what happens if the power goes down? But our front door is actually a battery operated system, but I don't think I think it's connected to the Wi-Fi. But it is, because I can unlock and lock the door. But if the power goes down, because I don't have a key for the house anymore. There is a keyhole there, but I don't know where the key is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The door will still open, with the code.
That's
right.
Nice. Yeah. So there's also some things there, and I think that similar to what Ross does, he's customizing things for people. We're very big into learning how you live, how you operate, and when we set one up, we're going to set things up specifically for you and some of those needs as well. And we'll probably remind you, like, hey, you probably want to put a key over here somewhere, so you can get into your house.
The age-old little key outside the house sitting under a rock.
And my mom would my mom won't like it very much, but our the way that we validate products and make sure that we can sell them is that if my mom has to call me to use them, or have to learn how to use them, we won't sell them.
Wow.
So it's got to be really simple. And she's actually really smart, so
Yeah,
we'll give her
she's
more
a
credit.
really smart woman.
Yeah.
Actually, I've met her. Spent time with her at the beach.
So yeah, but the kids are always interesting.
Yeah,
too,
so let's get into
it's
personal life and then we'll
Yeah.
get down into how
Do you have any kiddos?
I do. I've got a 5-year-old, Olivia, and my son's name is River. He's 3.
Okay, a 3-year-old,
My
right?
son
Very
asks
nice.
about River all the time.
River. Oh, they're good buddies.
River.
You gotta introduce
They went
them
down
to
and
Art.
spent to the beach.
But anyway, so like, okay, we're at a restaurant, right? And your kid is like and acting up and doing anything. Do you revert away from that, or do you go, River, stop? I need you to calm down. Or do you put something in front of him and go, here you go, here's your shows? Or does he already come in with his iPad?
Oh no. So I think, and it depends on who you ask, but since you're asking me, I'll tell you.
Because you're a smart home guy. I mean, you're in that world.
Yeah, I think the technology is great. I mean, we went to Fonda San Miguel, great Mexican restaurant here in town the other day, and my kids were just like a little bit like wily and not being calm. And so at that point, it was like, all right, break out the iPhones. We got some really cool games, and we could have a nice dinner. But for the most part, we're trying to engage them in conversation and bring them to the table, so to speak.
Do you think it's a disadvantage though? Because there's a big argument. It's like 50-50 argument right now. I don't know. I'm not pointing to you guys. I'm just looking to you for as a reference. But I'm saying, like, there's people that say, you're crippling your kid. You're crippling your kid because he's not going out and doing stuff. And I'm like, well, am I really though, or am I just giving him so many resources to the freaking globe or to the
So
planet?
I think I'm going to stop you there. I think it's really important to talk about what you actually show your child.
Of course.
So if your child is sitting there watching, I don't know, just like some like Paw Patrol, no offense, but like some of these like shows that are just, they're not learning. There's no education to them. Like my kid watched, Jack watches like Little Einsteins. How many 3-year-olds know what a gondola is? Okay, like my son knows, he doesn't call it a canoe, he calls it a gondola.
That's the right way.
But do you
Right?
pick what he's watching?
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Of course.
Interesting.
With filters, let's just say.
Absolutely. Back to my fridge theory, which,
But is it a
concept of-
disadvantage? Because, there's an argument out there.
My
that we're
son knows
crippling
where
it.
his apps are, where he can go in and use his different puzzles. Okay,
Exactly.
we have certain apps set up for him, but I don't want to say trained, but we've kind of guided him into saying, okay, this is what you can do. If he goes to Netflix and he knows how to decipher to his, and then he goes to like Magic School Bus, or he goes to like.
Okay, so he does have access to Netflix.
He does, but he doesn't go and watch like
there's-
Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube's a lot more dangerous to expose
Well,
kids to.
there's
Yeah,
something
my son
called
won't
use like
Kids
know-
Tube. There's a
So-
Kids
But
Tube.
he also doesn't use it every day, all day. Like in the house, Aaron is adamant. Is like, and I think when Jack was younger, we let him watch a lot of shows, and he became dependent on TV. And over the last 6 months, Aaron's been working really hard to keep him away from TV, iPhones. We play records versus digital
What do
music.
you mean he was dependent?
Every day, get up, watch a movie. Get up, want to watch a movie the minute he woke up.
Would he get upset if he couldn't?
Yeah, absolutely. He's
Okay.
2.5 years old,
Yeah.
so he would be
So
upset
does
because
Jack
he didn't
have his
understand.
own iPad?
No.
No.
Okay.
So it's what about
Ari does, but his mother took it away from him about a month ago.
Jack
why does
does
she
not
do
have
that?
any of his own stuff.
Because he was almost in the same. He was in a very he had bad habits of like picking up show. Now it's like if you were rewarding him, like you earned it. You went to the
Right.
potty today, so he got to watch PJ Masks.
So do y'all think there's some addictive quality to technology?
Yes,
Dude, 100%. He's talked about it all the time. It increases endorphins. It raises, all those
Dopamine
dopamine
spikes.
spikes. Like, absolutely.
But what is it? But my
But my
argument,
son still goes out and rubber boots
I think
to the
you're,
garden.
to answer your question, I mean, I think
Yeah.
one interesting way to look at it would be let's rewind and let's look at some technology of yesteryear, right?
Sure.
So it used to be that we had outhouses and you'd have to go and like run outside and go use the bathroom outside or like dig a hole or something like that. I mean, is it disadvantaging your child, back then to have like a regular sewage system and like and have a potty inside? I mean, maybe because they don't know how to like sustain themselves in the wild anymore. But as technology starts to become a part of our natural lives and we become dependent on it, I think it's actually giving them an advantage to give them access to the tools. But it's all about control and or at least I wouldn't necessarily say control, but guidance and restriction. Like you're talking about, or like
It's
we're all
called
talking
evolution.
about, providing a little bit
But
of
you
time.
said
It's called
something
evolution.
there. You
Man,
said
with
something
that.
there that's really scary to me. Dependent on technology.
I mean, the sewer systems are a perfect example. If we took all that technology out of the city today, it would be a pretty.
But there's
We're
a
dependent on
difference.
energy.
But there's a but
Electricity.
Okay, I agree with you there. But there's a
Electricity,
difference
internet,
between what we want to get
internet.
into now, which is something that scares the ever living fucking shit out of me, which is called what's it called?
Singularity.
Singularity.
I love talking about singularity.
How could you love talking
I don't
about
know- I don't
something
know what
that,
that is.
so
Well,
it's
it is what
literally
it
an
is. I mean,
AI
yeah. How do you
that's
understand
being
it?
Well, we have-
explained, that's being developed, that is predictive analytics. So like as you search stuff, as you like things, it starts to train you to live a certain way.
Not quite. Sonny, tell us what singularity is.
Well, I'd like to know what's your opinion.
There was an
'cause
article
we were
that came
talking
out
about it
today about
earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
it's
I don't even know what it is.
Okay, so singularity. So there's human.
I've heard of it, but
It's defined as the point whenever technology becomes as smart as humans.
oh yeah, I heard about that. Okay.
So there's a date that's predicted. It keeps getting sooner and sooner in the future than it had been. But it's and there's several movies that have shown this. Her with Joaquin Phoenix. You keep bringing up Minority Report.
I love that movie, by the way. Her is a great movie. You gotta
That's a
watch
great
it.
movie.
It is. I love
Yeah.
it. Romantic movie and a
Ex Machina is somewhat based on that, and I love
Ex
that
Machina?
movie. Machina. Oh, excuse me.
2001, Space Odyssey.
Right,
Yeah.
the original.
Yeah.
great movie. By
I'm
the way.
just saying,
So where were you
it's
going with
scary.
It is.
that? So you're going.
So,
So you're trying to say that.
and then the thing is, what happens after the moment of singularity?
Honestly, from you hearing that makes me excited. It gets me excited because we're always going to have control. I believe, right? Even if we
Well, that's
don't.
Well,
there's
Terminator-
still-
Really? iRobot. Singularity.
No,
What
but,
happened?
But you got to think about
Yes,
this.
that's
Terminator.
You got to think about
Yeah.
this.
That's the fear
there's
of singularity,
There's
though.
no way to replicate the human emotion. I doubt that.
But
you cannot
computers-
replicate that.
I think this is
They
more
can
of
build
like
enough artificial intelligence to where they can create an artificial intelligence,
Like an
for
algorithm
human-
or something.
Yes,
like
that's what
I'm
we're doing
pissed
right now.
off.
well, it's basically about
Are you really
the
pissed off, or
point
is that your
where
algorithm talking?
computers
You know what I mean?
take over us. Is the whole
Automation.
scary
Correct.
thing about
I mean, they're already
singularity.
talking about putting, back in the day, I'm sure when you had your first child, you saw the whole thing about computer chips potentially being put into kids for tracking to make sure,
Right.
all that stuff. And they're
Mark
still
of the
talking,
Beast is what some people think.
they're now
refers
talking
to.
about doing it still even stronger more today to where we can scan the children to help, conserve data on them and,
We do it to our pets.
So what is
I
your?
don't-
what is
not
your
quite
view
that
on it,
much.
Sonny?
And
What
there-
is your view on
and that-
singularity? Oh,
So
I'm
the
sorry.
thing is, like, computers don't have emotions, and so what the point of singularity or the fear is that they take over. They're going to not need humans anymore. They can take care of themselves, and they eliminate us. That's the big fear.
So that kind of already happened one time.
Yeah, I think we're a long
One
way.
time?
Yeah. They were programming something, I think, if I read correctly, at DARPA, they were doing some type of test. And the robots or whatever that were communicating started changing their communication patterns. And
Yeah.
they created their own language. And
Right.
I don't know where it was, don't mark my words. I think it was DARPA, but they shut
What's
it
DARPA?
down. DARPA's like defense. Look it up. I don't know
It's
the
like
acronym.
the Defense
I can look up
Department's their lab for creating new things.
They're the smartest people on the planet. Like they're like Elon Musk on roids. There's like 50 Elon Musks in
Yeah.
one of those buildings. But
I mean, I think
they
that's
started
debatable,
communicating. They created their own language, and then they had to shut it off because they couldn't.
Guys,
understand.
iRobot. Hello. That one guy starts like, no, it's gonna happen. And what's crazy is that when it happens, I'm running to the ranch, and whoever needs to start,
Is your ranch that secure?
Yeah. I mean,
Could we get a smart ranch to secure us from
sure,
technology?
whatever. That's fine. We can make the gate. We can make the gate an electric gate, so anybody tries to come in and just get
SmartHouse.me.
shocked.
Yeah.
But then we can grow our own food and hunt our own animals. There's
Right
nothing
here.
Okay,
wrong
Whenever
so
you need a
so
smart house
DARPA,
and a
Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
Yes,
Whatever that
smart
is.
people. So that happened. But
That's like
yeah,
the show.
I think it's a long way off. I think that particular
I agree.
technology, and I work out of our company works out of the Capitol Factory downtown. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's like a co-working space, but it's much bigger than that. They're a very influential part of the tech culture in Austin, which is really directly connected to the Silicon Valley as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see a lot of stuff come through there, and a lot of really talented groups that are trying to mess around with this stuff. There's groups like Mercedes, who has like a kind of like a research kind of thing. They have these hackathons where they're trying to come up with different ways to solve problems. Some of the problems that we have right now, and the same problems that we have with smart homes, are propagating wireless signals through different mediums. So, meaning that if if you're trying to like, send a wireless signal through a fish tank, it's not going to go through. So you might have a dead spot in your home. The way we solve that with with our company, smarthouse.me, for all you guys who want to look it up, is we create networks that get around that stuff. But say you have these autonomous vehicles, because that's one of the hardest things that they're working on right now, is what happens with one of those things goes into a parking garage and there is no signal anymore. And it can't get, because how many times do you lose your cell signal inside of a parking garage, or when you're going down?
In my garage here, you can lose your signal.
So there's really big problems with just like the technology to where it is, and these are physical limitations that unless the laws of physics get changed, they're going to continue to have these problems. So there's down the road, I think maybe some of this can be a problem. I think the biggest threat that we have to worry about with AI and things like that is once they have, which they're already building, is robots essentially that are trained to fire without a human controlling them.
Like a soldier.
A soldier, yeah. So once you have AI soldiers, then like that all hell's gonna break loose.
Iron Man, like it's gonna fucking happen, and that's the stuff that gets scary, is because then what happens to human life? They don't care about death. War becomes just who's got the most money and the biggest cock, because whoever can buy the most robots, they're not killing people. Yeah. You're just killing robots. There's no death. No one's going home. No one's losing a father at that point.
I'd be cool if it's like that show that's on whatever channel it is.
Money.
They have the robots that like attack each other with like the hammer and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like think about what happens in Iron Man and like if you've ever seen the movie.
Mm-hmm. What do people glorify all the time in tech movies? They always glorify who's going to find the best algorithm, right?
The algorithm.
Like the algorithm. Like everything has an algorithm, man. But I think that will be the detriment to our society till we get to a point where we're depending solely on a freaking algorithm.
So there's a guy that came from Google. He quit Google. He was in their think tank, the black lab thing that they do that's super secret.
Sure.
And he left because he realized that AI is here. Like they've already basically created it. And the way that they educate the AI is to run just a ton of information through it, and it like sifts through all this stuff to like just machine learning.
Sure.
So what his project is, and I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you can find it online. But it's like a million happy people or something like that, or he's trying to create this. He's got this message about like creating like this happiness and like these systems where people are basically training the AI through their actions, through creating. I'm not sure what it is.
So
a million happiness.
Almost like you're thinking like almost like indirectly saying muscle memory, right?
Look up like Google engineer.
Tech scares the
happiness.
fuck out of me. Let me just put it that way.
So he thinks that if there's enough of this stuff,
I know.
if there's enough of this content out there for the AI to find, then it'll.
I just think that I think
that's him right there. I think maybe
Moog.
Maybe so. I don't know.
I think we're going to be the most powerful planet, or
like
powerful country on the planet because of these advantages. But
was it just us?
That's a good or bad thing.
It's so stupid. Why are we opening ourselves up to be autonomously run?
Because I don't think that'll ever happen, guys.
What are you talking about? He's building autonomous houses right now, and it's great because I get it. But once cars become autonomous, houses become autonomous, work becomes autonomous, like
the fear.
What are you going to be doing?
But
what are you going to do every day with your life?
It's natural.
When everything is autonomous, what do you do every day?
So one thing
you have sex, make more kids. Like then what happens?
I think
and then you turn into like Hunger Games.
So
and you start battling each other in the game matrix that these people make.
So I think we're heading
It's so scary. Like
the movie Wall-E by Disney. I think that's where we're headed. I think the more technology we're going to have, people are just going to sit
1,000
with
years.
their.
But
what do you mean 1,000 years?
Yeah,
my kids practically are Wall-E.
Yeah,
right now.
come on. My daughter, who's 6 months old.
Maybe 100.
You want to know my daughter, who's 6 months old, will
years.
pick up this phone and we'll go to Marco Polo with the family, and she'll grab the phone. I'll hit the button, and she'll sit there and she just like looks at the phone and smiles, and she tries to grab it, and then
5
she
or
goes
6
back.
months old.
and she's already recognizing the dopamine that's hitting her sensory face by using technology.
We will get.
And she can't even. She doesn't even know what the hell her toes are.
But we are.
But she knows what an
like,
iPhone is, and when she sees it laying there, her eyes bright up, and she goes to grab it.
But we're naturally human, and so what we do with just humans, we don't form into a system ever. I mean, unless that would
really,
yeah. I mean, we do, but we're all categorized in different areas, and I think we're
formed into a system right now. We all go to work. We're trying to disrupt that. We're trying to disrupt that with the entrepreneurial spirit that's happening right now, and the tech is really helping.
It's just
that.
going to make more people independent.
But bro, still 80% of this world still wakes up and goes to the same job every single day and goes straight home. They go to college, they get an education, they go get a job, they come home, they get married, they fuck their wife or their whatever, their husband, they have kids, and then they build another relationship. Yeah. It's been the same thing for so long. So we do have a system.
Yeah,
that's what we're trained to do.
So one thing that you're bringing up that I've thought about a lot, and I don't think there's been much discussion out there. Like once we have everything automated and our jobs become automated, what do we do for income?
Yeah, it's
what do we do?
That's what we have to.
What are we gonna do when everything is done for us?
I'm glad that you guys have enough faith in me to answer all these questions because.
Well, we're just.
Do you ever think about? Let me ask you this: do you ever think about this?
I think a lot about that. Well, I think a lot about that. So, like a big thing that people are talking about right now is universal basic income. Like, can that be something that happens? I mean, the
universal basic. Let's slow down a minute. Universal, because I've never heard this. Universal basic income. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so the idea is that everybody is provided a basic income that they can...
You're talking about a pure utopic society. No capitalism, no survival for the fittest. Everyone has the same amount of money.
I think they think that they can merge it, like basically Marxism with capitalism somehow, and that they'll come up with something that will work. I think that's a pretty tall order to take on, and people should be extremely careful if they're going to try and dabble in that area. But the danger, obviously, is that if you don't, is universal basic income supposed to boost productivity? Is it supposed to boost,
Dude, that sounds like a B-movie.
It sounds like I don't know. I think I have my opinions on it. I think I love
do you like the idea of having universal income where we're all paid the same?
No, I don't like that at all.
Okay, good. I thought so. Okay, all right. But there's got to be a way that, like, here's what I like about your company, and I think why we became fast friends outside of tech is, like, you're doing this to better people's lives, to make them simpler. You're trying to solve people's stressful situations. Similar to my business, where I like to help people understand that they have a direction in life, a communication they speak when they leave their house, and they understand it. Tech.
Right.
Yes, but there's also a lot of bad side of tech that can come from everything, and the concept is going to be is once you pass that, once the pendulum goes too far, and we pass this where tech takes over humanism,
which is predicted in year 2045.
I think it's going to be way faster than that.
2045.
I think singularity is going to come 2027.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
if it comes
in the next decade.
Just like, remember Y2K?
10 more years.
It's already getting terrible. So
but Y2K was not anywhere near the same thing. What are you talking about?
You remember everyone freaked out about Y2K?
Hold on. How old were you when Y2K happened?
I was 14. Think about it, but listen. But hold on. I'm saying
that was worldwide.
We look and laugh now because we're like, oh, dude, but in '98 we weren't.
I hope we can laugh about singularity in the future.
Dude, my friend's dad's company.
I hope someone does something like Office Space, because Y2K was a big part of Office Space.
Shot in Austin.
I hope that they can do that with Singularity, because that would be great. I'm looking for the next
Netflix series called Singularity.
Okay, all that means is
sitting there talking to a robot. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Ross.
You can't figure out which one the robot is or whatever because they're equal.
I'm gonna be like, phone. Like, I know. Like, you see a guy arguing with his phone. Like, hey,
Rob, tell our young folks what Y2K is.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. It was this big...
it stands for year 2000.
Year 2000,
It was
correct.
abbreviated as Y2K.
1998.
Yeah, so, the whole thing was that computers only had the 00 at the end. They didn't have...
the year date.
They didn't have 200.
Right. It wasn't...
They thought it was
it wasn't 1990. 1900.
Everything
was going to shut down.
2000, then it would go back to 1900. Basically.
Right, it was going to go back to 1900 versus.
So they had to reprogram all this stuff. Watch Office Space.
Yeah, they used to have like I still work in some older hospitals where there's like tags on it that say Y2K approved.
Can I tell you the problem with millennials?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Please tell us the problem with millennials.
Woo, here we go, boys and girls.
We love millennials.
The problem with millennials is that they didn't have to go through Y2K, and the ones who have not watched Office Space they've got a problem. Now, the ones that have watched Office Space, I think that they can live a nice, happy life, and they can understand like the deeper humor and the catharsis that comes with knowing that life is just a miserable ordeal that we're all trying to struggle through.
Patronizing me right now?
No,
I'm just kidding.
no, you're 14. No, in all truth, though, this is something. So my mother owns a modeling agency. It's called Avant Agency out of San Antonio. Great company.
Dude, yeah.
Plug.
I got
to go in the spirit.
Yeah, you should talk.
I really did try to go there one time. Not kidding.
So she has a lot of new talent, because a lot of models are people they're younger and they look great and they're doing their thing, but they're spending so much time texting and communicating in ways that aren't direct verbal communication that when you get them on the phone, and I'm not saying this is not a blanket statement. This is just it's something that
a large portion.
It's noticeable. There's a higher
population
propensity of this than there was in the past.
Yeah, I agree.
It's where people aren't communicating well, and they can't have phone conversations. And I had something funny happen to me just today. I was like leaving a message for someone on the phone, and so I was like, yeah. And so if you want to do this, you can call me back. Period. And I'm like, wait a second, why am I like acting like I'm dictating to Siri here and I'm leaving this on someone's message?
You said period?
I said period. I was like, oh god. I had to like figure out which button to push to erase the message and start over again.
I send voice text.
That would
guys,
horrible.
can you confirm?
Oh god.
He hates when I send voice text.
I like them. I do like them, but it's taken me a while to get them. And people in the past have said
I do it all the
to
time.
me
Well, Marco Polo.
that when you do
That was
get in
good
a
idea.
conversation that requires diction or enunciation of your words, it is important to
do this stuff.
do the voice conversation so that someone doesn't think that you're mad, or they do think you're mad or upset or sad or whatever. Be like,
text messaging.
It's a terrible channel of communication. If you're having
let's
an
talk
argument.
about that. Like, how much does text messaging?
How do you think our kids are going to be in like 10 years, 13?
They
They're going
won't
to be
have
like,
they won't have it. They'll talk to an earpiece and it'll go straight to Ryan's ear.
you think so?
Yep.
They'll have
Wherever they are.
They'll have that Matrix. Speaking back to the Matrix,
They're gonna be talking like
in the back
this.
of their head.
Bro, 10 years.
Yes, but that's going to be their voices in their head.
Yeah, they'll
They're
probably
gonna
be able to
like,
choose what kind of
customize-
fucking voice. And what am I saying? They, we. Like, what am I saying? They. Well, I hope to God I'm alive in 10 years.
Can I get this for?
I mean, maybe unless singularity
Program
hits,
Then I'm ready for the
Hey,
hill.
Stacy, is that your program or is that you?
I will go off the grid, I swear to God.
Imagine that. You're like having to tell, you're getting mad at your kid because you're like, is your program talking to me or is that you? Like, that's going to be confusing.
I wonder when people are going to start
like-
naming their
like
kids.
her.
If anybody's named their kids Siri as a joke.
Oh, that probably already happened.
Yeah, they've already.
Hey Siri.
Well, there's Siri's real name.
My phone might end up.
Hey, there's already a ton of Alexas out there. Hey Alexa.
Yeah, you realize that everybody who's watching this that has that
Alexa,
device is the device is going off right now, and I call
Hey Siri.
like Alexa, order me some paper towels.
There it goes.
There you go. That
Alexa
proves
off.
the point. That proves the fucking point that I agree
So
with
that's
that.
a pain in the ass, and that's why I don't particularly care that much for that product. But
pretty convenient. Voice is the
I
future.
actually really do not like the Alexa products at all.
Voice is the future. I believe that.
I'd
in
rather
business.
have the Apple Home.
In business,
the
'cause what- you know what?
HomePod is cool,
In
by the way.
business? What?
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
have a-
PC
yeah, I
based?
love it.
No, I mean it's just time. We're going back to that topic of time. It saves you time. Like
We're talking about the
Alexa,
brand in
can
general,
you order
not
some toilet paper?
We're talking about the brand in general, not the device in general, not the tech.
Oh, okay.
Google has it.
It goes-
Apple has it now.
So but the
think
problem,
voice is the future.
if you want to talk about smart homes again, then
let's do
this
it.
is an interesting thing. So where Apple really has a great lock on the market is I can just show you. So we're actually the first company outside of California, to my knowledge, or maybe not. Maybe we're the first in Texas to have built an Apple HomeKit home and a model home with a builder. So we're starting to work through builders to get these things installed from the very beginning. And we also do like retrofit work here in the Austin area, and we'll kind of come wherever you want us to go, honestly.
Yeah.
Into West Texas, some other stuff. So this is the app. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that.
I'm an opponent to that.
Yeah. So this is Apple's app, so you can see they have like a fan. I can turn the fan on. If you have a light, you can.
Is this your home?
I have it right here.
Yeah.
Bennett Studios is right here.
Yeah,
so
this is my home. So like, here's the door. The door's unlocked. I just locked the door.
you can play with the lights, Ryan,
So-
if you'd like.
And this can like annoy the people that are at home. But
what if the kids get to that
but
and they
what's-
start unlocking stuff?
well, that's cool. Kids learn how to use things.
Yeah.
But
I don't want my 3-year-old out using my iPad, hit the home button, and then all of a sudden he sees me doing it.
yeah,
All of a sudden
well,
he's now unlocking
there's,
lights and
there's
turning
a lot of
things.
control, but let me just finish the point. So
Yeah.
the point is that with this particular platform, there is a physical way to see things and touch things. With the other options that are out there, with the exception of a product called Wink that we like to use,
Sure.
it's all voice control.
Wow.
And so like it's kind of I don't like to always be like you don't want to stop a conversation to turn the lights off. So
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
yeah,
And
so it's nice to have this integration. I really like it. It's also probably the most secure. Apple has the most secure integration of all of them too. I mean, the FBI couldn't get them to open up a phone for them. So I mean, they take privacy pretty seriously.
yeah, they never did open that phone, did they?
Nope.
Yeah.
Which phone was that? That was
Some guy that shot some people in San Diego or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
escalated really quick.
yeah. So speaking of, yeah,
I guess that set a
Crazy
precedence too. I mean,
I mean, you want to get into. Let's just talk tech and privacy. Like, at what point does tech all of a sudden control all your privacy?
well, that's another creepy one. So like, if you're,
like, think about that. We're right now on live. They're inside our office right now.
they.
Whoever's watching through this at any technologically, Facebook could be watching
What
this.
is that?
Are we getting questions over there from people?
A few of them. I'm responding.
Oh, all right, cool. All right.
But anyway, so you know what I'm saying, like.
What,
People are freaked out.
watching
Some people
this-
put piece of paper over their cameras all the
Right.
time.
It's a smart
'Cause-
thing to do. I mean,
Really?
See, then that
What's it
freaks
even
you out, right?
proven?
Smart thing. You just watched your face. I just watched you go from so all protected, and all of a sudden, wait, like,
Well,
you just freaked out.
As an expert guy, so I mean, the piece of paper we're talking about is the camera on their laptops or even your phones. People put a piece of paper
put it over
it.
this
So
too.
the thought is that the government is watching.
Yeah.
Right.
Even when that little
He is
green
watching.
light.
I'm more concerned about
She
that
is
weird
watching.
dude who's like living in his mom's
Whoever it is.
basement who's trying to watch, and like I'm not down with that. Like the
Oh.
government.
So anybody can hack into your Wi-Fi
Yeah,
and
you can.
watch through your phone.
It's not really true. I mean, so this happened
What-
with a school district. They had this program. They gave all these kids these computers. It normally happens with PCs because the architecture is very open.
Yeah, great.
And so some dude in the tech department had, and this is, you can look it up online.
Yeah.
He had enabled this girl's camera, like a student's camera, remotely while she was at home, and had like all these pictures of her. So
jeez.
like it was a big deal, and it's a pretty high problem.
So that was
Pretty gross.
one person targeting another person. That is definitely scary and across the line.
The point is that anybody can target you if they wanted to. You're an
If
international
they have
beard
the
model now.
skills.
If someone wants to literally go hack into your computer, they could.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
They could watch you through your phone, if the camera, if they wanted to.
Yeah, they can.
but
Like, hold on, did you hear that? Not a but.
Yes,
okay.
It's
I
happening.
understand.
And it's
but
been proven
I-
it can be done.
Yes.
There's like
Personally,
an expensive like
That doesn't
system
scare
can
you
buy.
thinking that someone could be looking through your iMac at your house right now through your back windows watching you and your kids swim?
Okay, so I don't mind. Like, I
Did
don't.
you
I
hear
can
that,
care,
though?
I can care. Hold on, I'm responding. I can care less if someone is out here watching me, doing whatever. Whatever. But my kids, that's a whole.
Yeah.
different
In your
thing.
house without your control, your son's got that Alienware computer that you just bought him?
Yeah.
What if the
Oh.
screen is open and someone's in his Alienware from his online gaming
Yeah, so I'm
system
talking. That's
watching
my
his bedroom?
kids. I don't. That is.
Well, that could be
unacceptable.
happening.
so
I
That's
get
it,
it.
and
I get the
I
point.
freak out about it
But
too.
I
Because
get the
there are
point.
protection. There's some protection that you can do against.
I mean,
that.
the thing about
but
privacy.
most people aren't aware of this protection.
Yeah.
So
Well,
one
you know.
okay. So one thing is that people just watching me. I don't care about that. If someone is watching, gathering information, stealing ID, doing stuff like that. That I care about a lot.
I
That-
care about people watching me in the privacy of my own home.
I get
reason
that.
I live
I get
there's
that
No,
point. I
privacy
get that
doesn't
point.
exist
But
anymore.
so-
I mean,
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it does, but you know what I'm saying. Like as far as like,
Yeah, that's what I think. It doesn't.
I'm not saying I'm hiding stuff, but you know what? Like, I don't want
No, I
someone,
didn't
like,
say
if
that.
my computer's in my bedroom and I'm having private time with my wife, I don't want someone to be able to creep in and have fun watching your
I
show.
promise you, I will stop doing that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, would you, I mean,
I
like
understand.
you
I
want,
understand what you're
and like,
saying.
say you're not home. Would you? And you can tell me all you want that you don't care that someone sees
that's a
you.
big concern.
But if someone wants to like,
I already told you. I
yeah,
care if
right.
it's
I mean,
fun.
but anyway, let's get back to one more topic I want to talk
security.
about.
He was going to say something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it might be a whole other conversation because it's pretty. There's a lot to go over there. I mean, do you have like a reinforced deadbolt with the really long screws that I mean that's security. But so someone can't kick your door in. They're more likely to do that. It's very hard to hack into something unless you have like physical access to it, and even then, it's like I mean, where the government is so far beyond what we're talking about that it's not even funny. Things like learning how fast you type on your computer to identify you by your typing fingerprint, just by the rhythm of your typing, things like that, to map all the sites and things that you've been to, or to identify who you are and where you are. Even if you have a VPN or anything else like that, there's just crazy stuff if you're worried about that kind of stuff. But from a practical standpoint, I mean, there's other tools that you can use to peer into people's homes and private lives, and I'm not going to talk about them on here because I don't want anybody like misuse that technology.
Sure.
Yeah, that's good.
But long story short, there's.
The point is
that's a whole
technology.
other
Technology
conversation.
exists, and the problem is when the pendulum starts to go too far, more negative things happen, even though when good things are trying to happen. And that's happened in society throughout every civilization we've seen. We're coming on a new cultural shift of eating, technology. What's weird about this is we're trying to go back to slow food movement, organic foods, all this kind of stuff, right? Where technology didn't even exist.
So you're saying pendulum, which implies that technology
Balance,
is
which is
back.
the last thing I want to get to,
Okay,
is
so
balance.
you're talking more about balance because
Work-life
technology
balance,
is considered,
technology, humanism, but life.
Technology is considered lineal, like people.
Yeah, but
well,
in
when
this
that
singularity stuff that we're talking about, when humanism and technology are becoming the same in terms of running daily life, it's not lineal anymore.
well, like no, but beepers will never become a thing again. Like that doesn't. Technology is not cyclical. It's
Linear?
future.
Yeah. Well,
Technology
it
never goes
depends.
backwards.
Well, it could go backwards. I mean, and it did actually during the Middle Ages, before the Renaissance, after Rome fell. Then there was this huge Dark Ages, I think they called
Trust
it.
me, technology is going to see a dark age. Absolutely.
Well, Einstein had a really good quote. He's like, I don't know what type of weapons they're going to be.
I believe it will.
They're going to be using with World War III, but I can tell you what they're going to be using in World War IV, and it's sticks and stones. So I mean, it's.
You said Wally.
Why would he say that?
Wally
He's
goes
saying
right
that the weapons
back
that
around.
they use in World War III are going to be so powerful that it'll take us back to the Stone Age.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
Okay,
That is a good.
That's
point.
what we're trying to say. You said Wally earlier. What happens in Wally? They go to like
It's very weird.
destruction.
Yeah.
It's
Everything
hard to
is
drink-
destroyed.
Drink
Yeah.
that thought.
Is that the one where everyone's like sitting in those little carts
Wally!
in space?
Yes.
Like they're like
Yes.
Cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, they do everything.
I have it on my phone. I'm probably gonna watch it again tonight.
So
I love that movie.
That is a really good point that you brought up. Like you brought up that if like technology gets so great that it destroys most of humanity, like there's probably going to be a few survivors.
That's why I keep
And
talking
that
about the pendulum.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I know where you're going.
I
Aren't
can
you,
argue
are
with
you
the
scared?
pendulum,
I mean, how
but-
do you think about the medical field? Let's talk about that with technology, because like that's a whole nother topic, right? Do you love having technology in the medical field?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I mean, like there's humongous breakthroughs and benefits for it.
MRIs.
MRIs, the different techs you have for the different tools you get to use, okay, for all the gun shops and knife stabbings you have that you didn't have 20 years ago, 30 years ago, right? Like you can save lives now in minutes. Where guys 20 years ago, it took them maybe 20, you can maybe do it a lot faster because of the technology you have. You can look up things faster, you can figure things out quicker. There's a great part of it. But the other part about it that I see that scares the shit out of me is that everything's becoming so consumed by tech.
We become reliant on tech. So like the Cadillac example is a good one. So
Yeah.
this reliance on technology.
Do you rely on it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love it. But I think that, I still have an axe in my backyard and I still chop wood.
And you still float with the canoe down.
Sometimes I fly the canoe, sometimes I put it in the water, but there's been a couple times where it's gone.
Fell off the back
So-
of the truck.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. So, and I think kind of going because I know we're kind of running out of time here.
No, we're good.
No,
Yeah, we're plenty of time. So let's get to the balance part because I think that's why you're
about 2
challenging
more
me on the
minutes.
pendulum, and that's why I keep it. I want to get to the point of balance, like to close it
it's-
out.
it's
I'm like,
overwhelming.
how do we as humans? Because the World War III is the World War IV sticks and stones. That's scary shit.
That is scary.
That
But
sounds
it's the
pretty
truth.
accurate,
Like that's
actually.
why I'm so scared about it. Is because oh my god, which country is going to have the biggest bomb to go wipe out a continent?
Might not even be a bomb. It's
Out of
just-
the light bulbs. That's just
Who-
going
who
to
can
cause a
control
massive.
the
So
internet?
I find it very interesting that you guys brought up like country versus country with technology, where I think we're going to all become globalized. Like all this tech is going to be used together.
I mean, well,
They're all fighting
first
right
of all, we already are globalized because of the internet. You can chat with some I don't know.
No, go for it. You can
Just-
chat with whomever you want at any point of the day.
Yeah, you could be shooting the shit with someone in Ukraine or something like that.
You have a perfect example. How many international beard friends have you made through Instagram?
international beard friends.
Yeah, so there's a whole beard culture out there, and so on Instagram, literally 24 hours a day around the globe, which works well for me, doing 24-hour shifts. Is there's always someone messaging me at certain periods of time, and they're my friends, and I learn about their family, and talk about beard stuff and beard advice, and so I literally have, and to maybe learn my. Geography all over again. There's country I have someone in Algeria. I'm like, where's Algeria? and
Now I
have to
want you to
look,
think
but-
about that for a second. How many of those people could potentially be people that are coming after a beard model who's got a family of 5 who lives in Westlake,
not a
who's
beard
a doctor?
model.
Just answer my question. Who comes from a certain area, who is an emergency doctor?
So I don't give out personal information.
Doesn't matter. You don't have to. You have a public Instagram account with an email address and a phone number.
He cares.
I just don't think
I'm just
anyone
trying to say-
has motivation to
Maybe
come
not.
after.
They might not have motivation to come after you. I'm just
They
saying.
can't even get into the U.S.
I mean, it's true, especially now.
Yeah, I'm just playing. I'm just
You know
playing.
how much motivation someone would have to come fly from Algeria and.
Why couldn't they just hack your bank accounts, take all your money?
Well, that's more of the point, and I agree with you.
That's what I'm trying to say. They
some
could
of
be
these
learning
people-
who you are and discovering who you are.
So someone, they like, what are your kids' names? I'm like, I'm not giving you my
Yeah,
kids'
okay,
names.
so you
That's
do
not
get
gonna
this
happen.
question- you do
do
get
you
this
want
question.
my mother's maiden name
Have
too?
you ever
Fuck
posted?
you.
Have you ever posted something to Craigslist and all of a sudden you get an email?
I
We'll
don't
send
do
you a
Craigslist.
certified check,
I
and
don't do Craigslist. There's too many people that murder.
I started my first business on Craigslist, and that was a really crazy
I
experience.
do Westlake Swap.
Yeah, so explain that.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying, I got some customers that I was never expecting to get. There's some weird proposals, some interesting things that happened. I don't necessarily advise that as something that where people
I'm just
should go
saying,
into
like,
business,
you know,
on Craigslist. It's,
Yeah, I'm not saying to go to Craigslist either. I'm just saying, like, if you ever posted something out of your garage for sale and they're like, I'll send you certified check.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, they're from Algeria.
I got one of those bunk iPhones one time. I met some guy in a parking lot.
But I don't do that
Just
kind
saying,
of
I
stuff.
care about you, brother. I'm just saying, like, cool.
I vet these people, but
Yeah.
I think it's a
Of
good thing
course.
because you're creating camaraderie. There's an esprit de corps. There's like a group of people that are like-minded, and they also look alike. That potentially, so and that's
Yeah.
nice. And community is a good thing, right?
Absolutely.
So
There has to be a willingness
getting
to
to
let
that
go.
pendulum, getting to like defeating the
this is
singularity,
new for me. Yeah.
defeating AI, doing all that kind of stuff. Is what we're doing right now, and what I think is really important about what you guys are doing, and I commend you for, is having these conversations and opening this up, because the only way to solve any problem is to talk about it, and it's the people who don't talk about things that end up bitter and angry, upset with the world, reclusive, and it starts shutting down the society. And so just like in our politics right now, and God, I hope we don't start talking about politics.
No, we're not.
But it's like if people would just engage a little more and listen more, and you have these things. I think we'd see that we're all a little bit more
Alike.
common than we're different.
We are all
Yeah.
so much alike. It's so crazy.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you really sat there with a
and not just
your friends-
Americans.
no, globally.
humans.
If you sit down with a bunch of your friends nowadays at lunchtime, and you say, "Where do you come from?" Everybody's going to come from a different country or a different nationality.
Yeah.
Because this world is so diverse now.
It is.
We're both a quarter
but-
Mexican.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I just took my DNA test. I keep getting text messages about the DNA is processing. I'm excited to find out
So,
what I got. Damn, like-
so one thing about we have more things in common than we have different. I mean,
Yeah.
literally every nationality or every human wants love. They want to care for their children. This is the basis of humanity, but that's not what we always focus on. We focus on the differences, and I hope that we have a switch in our society where, globally we could all connect more than try to be divided.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it would be nice, as technology grows, and we were trying to say earlier, which this is crazy for me to say this, but what is everybody going to do when everything becomes automated, right? Well, if we could figure out how to make the world live longer, if we don't have a job,
we will
right?
live longer for sure.
Yeah, I don't think things are going to get that way for quite a while. But I think, it's really interesting because we're going through a huge revolution.
I won't be
scared of everything.
Yeah.
Not scared of everything.
So we're going through a huge revolution right now. So same thing like when Gutenberg created the printing press. There's all this information going out. You guys are on the forefront of that, and I like to say, here I am with you, kind of riding that wave, at least for the day. And we don't know what the impact is going to be of all this information going out. And people standing up and making a platform and having these conversations is what will change the world.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's 5,000 users or 50,000 viewers or whatever they are, like this is huge. When was the last time that people could communicate like this across the world with other bearded people? I mean, it's never happened. So
I agree.
So this is great. Who knows what's going to happen, and it's a good experiment. So stay positive and hope for the best. I mean, they say I had this great book. It's like the 500 best bicycle riding tips of all time.
Oh.
And I had this thing from like Bicycle Magazine or something. And so for a long time I had it like it's kind of like on the genre. You could like read that thing. And the best tip that's in there that I've found that applies to almost any situation is that when you are in a situation where things are rough and you think that you're going to biff it or have a hard time and maybe crash or hurt yourself, don't look where the obstacle is. Look where you want to go.
Yeah, look away.
If you focus on where you're trying to go, then your chances of succeeding and getting yourself out of that jam are a lot higher than if you start looking and focusing on what's going to crash you.
Yeah, I've heard that. Don't run into the pole. The pole's like 400 yards away.
Yeah, just look over. Look to the left of the pole. Look to the left of the hole in the ground that you're going to hit, and
exactly. Like if you're going to crash,
and that's where you'll go. You'll go where you look. So keep your vision on what you want.
So we can conclude that technology is neither good or bad. It's just perception, right? It's just how you look how you use it. I honestly am an optimist, and I don't focus on the future. I focus on right now, but I'm really excited to be alive right now. I really am.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this right now is a great time to be alive because there's a lot of disruption going on, and a lot of things are going back to old ways for health benefits and humanity, but at the same time we're advancing a lot of things. Look, I love technology in the medical field. My family was on, different people were on heart monitors and all that kind of stuff, and the things that it can do for the medical world is insane. I mean, it's unbelievable what it can do. And also for bootstrapping and small businesses to understand, to really grasp how to do something when they have a question. It's great.
So one perfect example that I've experienced I really experienced when I first got into medicine is the people's reliance on technology, so medicine, to make them better. And it's like prevention would be way better than relying on pills to fix you.
Right.
So there's a bad side of relying on technology. I agree with that.
Yeah. Not treating the underlying issue, but
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just balance. So I think we have enough information here to just take away first and foremost about smart houses, and specifically your company, which is Smart House, which is HAUZ.me, right? You gave us some great information on that, and I'm definitely going to reach out to you to probably get one of these little panels here because they're awesome.
Yeah.
But
you just became a dealer.
Close out. Do you do you have a brick and mortar? Like, what do your clientele look like? And how can you help somebody out there?
Sure. So in New Braunfels, Texas, we're working with Stone Creek Custom Homes, and that's kind of our showroom. It's 1225. Why don't you know the address? It's on here. Let me see.
Yeah.
It's in New Braunfels, the 1225 Vintage Way in New Braunfels. If people want to see an Apple HomeKit smart home, here I'm working with Ross in his studio and we're like at the very infant stages of just trying to come up with some ideas on how we can make this place a little cooler. And functional, but we actually are going to be announcing this later, so you guys will be the first people to know. I wasn't planning on mentioning this, but we are going to be going. We're offering a service where we'll come to your home and give you a free assessment. So Amazon is doing this right now, and so we'd like to go head to head with Amazon, David versus Goliath style.
Wow.
And we're going to send someone to your home and show, talk about a smart home. The entry price, really, it's kind of like about the price of a computer. Best way to think about it. So $1,000 can get you in the door, but you'll probably want to spend a little bit more than that to get something that's really, going to really impact your life. So you can go online to our website right now, smarthouse.me, and click on the Get Started button. We're in the middle of revamping the whole website. It needs a lot of work, but I'd love to, and always happy to give information out too. Our goal is not to lock you in to ourselves as a service provider. We want to liberate you so that you don't get stuck with one of these security companies or the old school AV dealers. And no offense to them, they do some great work and they do for what they're doing. But for most people, having the freedom to kind of just do it on yourself is pretty powerful, and we want to win people's as customers the old-fashioned way, which is through really good quality customer service.
Customer service,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is great way to end it. Humanism is always going to win.
Yeah.
No matter how much fucking technology comes into this world.
Ain't no robot gonna do that for you.
Let's just say that right now. That ain't no robot gonna stop this boy.
It's all right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Sonny
Great.
Sneffner with smarthouse.biz, HAUZ. There's episode 6, Uncommon Talk.
See ya!
That was a good one.